Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fins Up Network. It's Ben Morgan. And got to ask before we get started, did you survive the bye week? Man, a long ass time without Miami Dolphins games. And I'll tell you what, last Sunday, it was kind of nice to be able to just flip to any single game I wanted whenever. But at the end of the day, you can only watch so much 3-3 Jets versus Patriots action. Holy cow. Talk about brutal. But hey, how about that Zach Wilson finding his way to the bench for the New York Jets? Tell you this, I hope to God he is back as the Jet starter come week 18. So we can unleash Bradley Chubb. We can unleash Jalen Phillips on him en route to sealing the AFC East because that is week 18. But we will cross that bridge when we get there because today we talk Texans' top keys to victory against those 1-8-1 Houston Texans. But as always, I want to hear from you as well. So drop your top keys to victory in the comments. And if you have any questions that you would like answered on Saturday morning's final preview and prediction video, go ahead and drop those in the comments as well. I will get to as many as possible, but let's jump in with today's action. Avoid the letdown. Fairly self-explanatory. You get the bye week and you come back seeing a 1-8-1 Texans team on your schedule. So you naturally just kind of look ahead to see what kind of, we're on a win streak. We're on a 4-game win streak. You want to say, all right, we'll beat the Texans. That's 5. How far can we stretch this out? And all of a sudden you see, well, I think I almost died there. I'm all right though. You see at San Francisco, you see at the LA Chargers, and you see at Buffalo. You can't help but instantly think about how crucial that 3-game road stretch is going to be. I mean, honestly, look at it how it is right now. As of recording this, we're first place in the AFC East. Buffalo can statistically, I think, take that if they win on the Thursday game. But as of recording this right now, we're first place in the East. We are the number 2 overall seed in the AFC playoff picture. How do you not look forward and just start circling those upcoming matchups? Well, I tell you what, that's exactly what the Dolphins can't afford to do. And I don't necessarily think that they will either. Mike McDaniel, small sample size, but he is the pay attention to detail type of coach. What did he talk about to Tua all offseason? Short memory, one play at a time, not even one drive at a time, one play at a time. So you know damn well this team has got to go one game at a time. And we have seen, you can't do it, but because we have seen huge upsets in the NFL this year. I was looking up a couple. The Panthers beat the Bucs earlier this year when the Bucs were 13.5-point favorites. The Bills lost to the Jets as double-digit favorites. We, historically, the Dolphins, have lost to the Texans as double-digit favorites in the past. And I know that was a long time ago, but in the NFL, what I'm trying to say is you simply can't assume anything. So you head into this game, you say, you got to stay mentally smart. There's no stupid penalties. We've had a history of that. So no stupid penalties. Don't play over your head thinking that you can just get away with anything. Stick to what's gotten you here this far, and we should be absolutely fine. But absolutely cannot have your mind on that next upcoming 3-game road stretch. The next key to victory for me, exploit. And this is in regards to what the Houston Texans rank dead last in this season in the NFL, and that is run defense. So we just came off our most complete game of the season 2 weeks ago now against the Browns. Definitely our most complete running game of the season. 195 rushing yards, would have been over 6 yards per carry if it wasn't for the Skylar Thompson kneel downs and 2 touchdowns on the ground. So now we get the Texans ranked dead last in rushing yards allowed per game, 178.9 rushing yards allowed per game, which is more than 20 yards per game worse than the 31st ranked team. So they are absolutely brutal against the run. So after the bye week, I just talked about this, how excited I am for Dolphins football. I want to see fireworks. We've had way too damn long to wait since the last game. I want to see Tua continue his MVP run. I want to see Tyreek. I want to see Waddle. I want to see them both go for 100-plus yards. But man, guess what? If you can control this game with Raheem Mostert, with Jeff Wilson, and continue to improve this ground game, because you know as well as I do, as the weather turns, we face inclement weather. The ground game just becomes more and more important. And this is another opportunity to continue to get the offensive line on the same page with these running backs get more reps, continue to improve this part of the offense. So, yeah, I don't think this is a game where we necessarily have to worry about controlling the clock or keeping the ball off the Texans offense. That's typically the type of game that you would want to establish to run, control the tempo against a high powered offense. That's not the case in this one. What I'm more so saying is that they're dead last against the run for a reason. Take advantage of the team's weakness if it is that glaring. And in this case, holy cow, it is beyond glaring. So if they shock us, if they sell out against the run, if they take that Cleveland Browns game to heart and they say, you know what, we're not letting Wilson, we're not letting Mostert beat us, well, then we're right back to Tyreek Hill. We're right back to Jaylen Waddle running free in the Texans secondary. Let's move on to number 3. Take advantage of the change. So in case you haven't heard, the Houston Texans are expected to sit Davis Mills in favor of Kyle Allen at quarterback this week. And geez, I can't help but think, remember back to this offseason where there were certain people based on stats alone comparing Davis Mills and Tua Tagovailoa this offseason. All I can say is be careful who you listen to, who you pay attention to that covers these teams. It is a scary world out there. So, man, after last week, I watched some of that Texans game, another tough game to watch. Mills threw an interception, a pick 6 on like his first drive of that game. He took over the NFL lead in interceptions thrown. Not a stat you really want to lead in, but Davis Mills found himself as the leader. But besides the turnovers, I mean, he wasn't turning heads for a good reason. Texans are 32nd in total yards per game, 26th in passing yards per game. So here comes Kyle Allen to save the day for the Texans. But he's not necessarily a stranger to starting. 5th season in the NFL, 7-10 as a starter, 24 touchdowns compared to 17 interceptions. So his numbers aren't outright terrible. His win-loss record isn't great, but it's a relatively small sample size, and he played for some fairly bad Carolina Panthers teams. But my biggest point that I'm trying to make here is that this is going to be his first week, getting the majority of the practice rep with the ones. So there's still going to be timing issues. They may not be on the same page, him and the original starters of that team. This game will be the absolute least prepared the Texans offense is with a new quarterback. So you got to take advantage of that in numerous ways. And those ways, getting pressure with Chubb, with Phillips, force those early throws, hopefully get some sacks, maybe throw some different coverages, some blitzes at him, shake that confidence early. But also early, what I would do, I would attempt to take away those comfort throws, because my guess is that early in this game, they try to get him started early with some simple completions. That's what we see quite often with young quarterbacks, with new quarterbacks. But these are things that a veteran coach like Josh Boyer should know and should do. So I'm just excited to see and watch and see if he does, because, hey, maybe Xavier Howard gets that first interception of the season. Because I have a quick Dolphins did you know to end today's video. We only have 4 interceptions this season, and it's by 3 players. I'll give you a second to think of those 3 players. Time's up. Javon Holland has 2 of the 4. Justin Bethel has 1. Noah Igbenogany has 1. It is time for Xavier Howard to get his name on the interception scoreboard. But that is what I've got for today, Dolphins fans. Like I said, drop your keys to victory in the comments. And also, if you have any questions you would like answered on the final preview and prediction video, go ahead and drop those in the comments as well. But that's what I've got for today, Dolphins fans. And until next time, Fins